it's probably going to start streaming me now already. Look, it says it's streaming now and it's still on my other screen. Not doing that. So I'm not sure if I should start talking now. Oh, I need to share my screen too. Screen 1. There goes. Okay, pause. I gotta move my headset away from my head so I don't hear myself from moments ago. All right, so Marjorie, welcome. And for everybody else, I'm Kim with Little Biz Resources. And today is our first check-in with a progress update for, well, the progress of 25,000 visitors to my site by January 1st. Now that's 25,000 visitors a month, right? That's what I'm going for. Now, Marjorie, you said StreamYard. Yeah, that's one of the ones that I've used in the past. And the reason why I switched away from them was because I was doing a different strategy. And now that I am actually going live, StreamYard's definitely a better option. I'll probably end up using that one because I really liked it. It was amazing. So, and they actually just released a new feature where you can live stream recordings. So, am I not sharing? Sorry, like I said, this is the Zoom menu is just phenomenally complicated. Considering I had everything open a second ago and it just closed everything again. Yeah, no, they have a special going on right now. Yeah, they did email me and I saw that. So, but thanks for reminding me, Marjorie, because I definitely need to look at that again. All right, so let's jump into our first update. And again, I'm using PowerPoint. I can't use it full screen because it won't record at full screen. That's another thing about StreamYard that's nice. Another one is OBS software, but not regular OBS. Streamlabs OBS is one I want to try as well because that one uses more of your computer resources, but it can do more channels than some of the ones that StreamYard could do. I have to check on that though, because that's just what I remember from back in the day. All right, so we're going to keep it kind of short today, hopefully. Knowing me, it may not be that short, but I'm going to do a few updates and decisions, and you'll see why as I review the progress, or I'm going to say lack of progress. And then managing expectations and a little discussion on that, because this is something that I think a lot of people overlook, right? And then what can I change? And well, actually, it'll probably be next steps mostly, and we'll probably do that together. All right, so updates and decisions. So the last week has been a little chaotic when it comes to my websites. And that's because I am, I'm trying to consolidate. That's something that, I've been spending a ton of money on hosting and resources and being able to connect things and using multiple email marketing platforms and everything just so that everything could connect. And it turns out that it's just too much time, too much money, too much resources for the membership area, especially when you consider the fact that I've had maybe one or two people, that have gone through just some of the content. I have videos from our membership area. Now, granted, I will say that this is partly my fault because I didn't get it all switched over to the other one, but I left the old one open and I still checked the video progress and there was no views. There's no views on videos. And I'm going, you know what? If we're going to spend this amount of time and to have people not watch it, that's silly, right? That's just not, there's no sense to that whatsoever. Hey, let's do a video and post it nowhere. That's basically what I'm doing. So that was a decision I finally came up to kind of moments before this when I was expressing frustration with my sister. I was like, not with her, but I was talking to my sister, with my sister, whatever. And I was telling her about how frustrated I was that I spent an entire week almost trying to find the perfect membership platform because of all the complaints I get from people. Oh, this doesn't work this way. And I want it to be this way. And I want it to be this way. And I'm going, you know what? This is ridiculous. Like, why don't I just put the videos on YouTube? Because YouTube does those things without me having to pay an arm and a leg for it. Who cares if they put ads on it? Because it's free, right? So whether I make money from it or don't make money from it, at this point, it's not doing any good sitting on YouTube private where nobody can find it and nobody's viewing it. At least nobody that is joining is viewing it. And I get that, I mean, I'm somebody who's like, if I don't know the person, and even if I watch them, I've seen them on things, I'm hesitant to join and be like, yeah, I want to be in your membership area. I'm like, no, if you want to show it to me, just put it on YouTube like everybody else does. But then I also go through some of those and I'm like, these are really lame. Why do people put on? So I get the conflict there. And what I'll probably do is mix and match. So I have some older content I need to redo. And some of that might go on to YouTube. Some of it might go into the Facebook group since, it's free. And if it gets shut down, who cares? I'll have the backups. So I'll switch everything to either open on YouTube, so public on YouTube. I'm going to add some into the Facebook groups that'll be specifically, look, if you want this, join the Facebook group and get access to it. There's a guide section, which used to be units on there. It should say guides now to everybody, but I still I'm reading articles that are coming out like in the last few days where they're referencing units. And I'm going, wait a second, Facebook changed units to guides like a while ago. Nobody should have units anymore, but I don't know. So just if yours says units, it's the same section as guides. Those are interchangeable. Eventually everybody will just have guides. And then of course I'll post a bunch on the Little Biz Resources website because I'm trying to build content there, right? Trying to build traffic. So there will be stuff that will be exclusively there where people will have to go to it to watch it. So I might like have a teaser on YouTube and then lead them over. That would be a good traffic strategy, right? So again, you'll see in a moment why I had to make this decision. All right. So this is the goals for last week, right? The finish moving over the membership site and redirect existing links to links. I did the redirect. I built the site. So when I made the plan to build the site, I thought it was going to be a couple hours, right? I got a couple hours into it, started testing, and realized that the plugin that I had chose based on recommendations from people didn't do what I needed it to do. And specifically, it didn't let me offer multiple courses that people could opt into, right? So if somebody wants to sell on Etsy, they may not want to do affiliate marketing. And the whole point of being able to say, hey, if you want to do Etsy and you want to do affiliate marketing, here, opt in for this, was so that I could like specifically make emails and recommendations and provide resources that are specific to what you want. And while I have lots of things that cross over, it's not beneficial for me to send out an email and say, hey, check out Kibo training to somebody who it doesn't have any interest in drop shipping or e-commerce, right? For those who remember my Kibo promotions. Now, almost everybody in our group is interested in making money, so that's obviously still beneficial. But I would like to be able to say, hey, if there's something Etsy specific, that I don't send it out to people who are in affiliate marketing, right? If they're in affiliate marketing, they're probably not on Etsy. And if they are on Etsy, ideally they've opted into our Etsy resources. So that's just an example of two completely different ones, but I have other ones too, right? I have a YouTube training that's not mine, that's somebody else's, but that I promote. And then a Facebook one, which I teach the similar methods. I just don't teach the monetization side of it. So his training is excellent, though. It's free training, and then he offers a course at the end of it, right? So those are all things that, I want people to be able to get to if they want to. And I'm spending so much time and resources and effort on the membership site to not have people go through it. I finally said, you know what? I have it, finally got it built, and I was going through and I made all of the page titles and everything else. And I got Elementor Pro set up so that it would be able to make it all pretty and everything. And I went to it and I went, son of a gun, who knew that if you put it in order, which that's all it was A to Z or Z to A order. So apparently alphabetical order. No, maybe it was ascending or descending. Maybe that's what it was, ascending or descending. And I'm like, okay, well, you would think that if it's lesson 1 and lesson 2 would come right after it. Nope. It went lesson 1, lesson 11. And I went, oh my gosh, I can't do this. So after changing it about 3 times and going, this is ridiculous. That the fact that I would have to put another plugin yet on my site and test more stuff to get it to work. Plus, despite the fact that I finally got one that would allow you to have free memberships, it doesn't let one person have multiple free memberships. So then I had to turn around and say, okay, fine, I'll have to set up paid memberships and offer coupon codes. I'm like, well, that'll work. I mean, people can just opt in and get the coupon code, and then I'll send them to, and then they sign up for the membership or put the coupon code in, whatever. Well, then the page turned out to be horrible. And I'm like, I don't know how to code. So I'm like, after going through all of that and spending an absurd amount of time, I finally said, you know what? This is just like when I switched over to ClickFunnels. I had to figure all of that out, had to find custom coding for it and everything else. And then I set up an entire affiliate course and nobody went through it. At least I don't think anyone went through it. Maybe one person went through some of them. And I went, okay, I just was getting frustrated, and that's my own fault because I just don't have the resources to be able to pay people to do this. And, I mean, my money right now is tied up in my other companies and I just can't pull it out. And anyway, so that because of that first one, moving over the membership site, took out most of the week. Right now, keyword research, content research, that's always ongoing. And yeah, I actually got some pretty good keywords while I was doing it to use. And so that one's ongoing, and I'd say successfully I got some good content ideas on that. Now, create and schedule 7 posts to start on July 26th. This is the funny thing about this. I have the 7 posts written. Like, I have the text part of it. There's a bug attacking me. Some sort of flying bug. I think it's a moth. We thought it was a fly the other day, but I think it's a moth. Anyway, so I have the posts, but it takes time to actually put them into the site and make them pretty and everything else. And with me dealing with the membership site, I never made it that far. So I still have the posts. So we're going to have to adjust that to be later on. Let's see here. So then create strategies, schedule for social media, and schedule out posts. Again, since I didn't do the post, I didn't get that far. So I sit there and go, oh my gosh, if you look at it this way, you'd say it's really discouraging, right? And of course, then there's the last one, find out what's realistic. That was part of what was my goal, right? Find out okay, I cannot realistically build a membership site and manage it and add content and do the blog posts and do the Facebook group. You guys know I'm hardly ever in the Facebook group. Why? Because I'm always dealing with this stuff. I would much rather be in the Facebook group and engaging with people and helping people than trying to deal with building content that nobody's ever going to look at. Right. And at least if I put it in the Facebook group, I can reference it and somebody can go in there. Now, I do know, since I'm streaming live on YouTube, some of you may go, wait a second, I'm not on your Facebook group. Well, click the link below, join the Facebook group. And if you're anti-Facebook, I'm sorry. That's just for now. That's where a lot of that's going to be. We may have an alternate later on, but for now, I don't have time to build both. It's just impossible. And I would much rather put my efforts towards helping people than building content that's never going to get looked at. So let me go to the next section. All right. So I put this in here, managing expectations, and why am I not disappointed with my progress? Now, it may sound like I'm disappointed, but I'm actually not. And here's why. Honestly, I do this all the time. I do it all the time. This is one of my biggest flaws that I have. And this, I think I mentioned this last week. This is something that's extremely common, that most people will underestimate how long it takes to do something. So if they're like, oh, it'll only take me an hour, it could take them 3 hours, right? I do that all the time. Like, I'll say, oh yeah, I can get it done at the end of the week. And then like 3 weeks later, I'm still working on it because it just took way more time than I thought it would. This happens all the time to me. And that's part of the reason why I made the comment that one of my goals last week was to find out what's realistic. And I didn't realize how hard it was going to be to find a membership platform, which, by the way, was supposed to be free so I could teach you guys how to do that. It ended up not being free. And I'll still probably teach how to do it because now I can just play with it and do recordings and teach that. But it's one of those things where it's like lesson learned. That, I mean, I've kind of suspected this all along because I've never been able to get to a membership platform where it doesn't take a lot of time. And in fact, all of them take time, right? You've got to still make the content. You still got to load the content, or host it somewhere. You still got to connect all of it. Still got to type up all the information. You got to, put your menu together and figure out, navigation. Where are people going to go after this and go to that? And then of course, if you're referencing things, you got to make sure all those links are working and that, everything's in place. So that no matter what platform you're on, has to happen. Right? It has to happen. So whether I'm putting it into Facebook, or I'm putting it on my page, or I'm putting it in ClickFunnels, or I'm putting it in WordPress, it doesn't matter. All of that takes time. And then there's just the added factor of you have to learn whatever the platform is that you're using. And of course, like I had mentioned before, that even when I was on ClickFunnels, I had to go in because I wanted to have different colors for different courses on the side. because I wanted all my courses to be able to be accessed when one person logged in. Well, it's funny. I'm was watching this training from this guy, which I usually do that when I'm working on one of my other businesses that requires less brain power. And so I'm listening to him and he goes, "Oh yeah, check the bonus out." And I'm like, "What are in his bonuses?" And I went to his bonuses and I clicked and it went to another membership area. So he has like 40 membership areas for his 40 different courses, and they're all on ClickFunnels, but they're all separate. Right. So he has like different memberships for each one instead of having them all under one login. And I was trying to make it all under one login. And like I said, I did figure out how to do it finally under WordPress, and I'll share how to do all of that because it's actually pretty cool. I found a discount for it and everything. So it's like $10 for the 2 plugins. It's not, I mean, if you wanted to do it legit, it's going to be like $100 for both plugins, but I found discounts that's only $10. And it's really cool the way I had it all set up. But when push came to shove, it still didn't do ultimately what I wanted it to do. And to do that on ClickFunnels, I had to go and find custom coding that somebody had done. It was some arbitrary thing. And then I had to figure it out because they don't teach that. Right. And now I don't suggest going to ClickFunnels as for a membership platform because it is very complicated to be able to do. If you want to do like one, it's great. It's really easy then if you just want to do one membership area. But if you want to have multiple, like I had where I had multiple courses and people could opt into different ones, you can do that. It's just a lot harder to do. And I had to learn it. I had to go in there and figure it all out. So at $100 a month though, and that's the cheapest plan for ClickFunnels, which I do think is a good idea. If people are paying you, you definitely want a platform that's stable, and ClickFunnels is that. But I ran into 2 things, and this is the reason why I finally decided not to do that. One, I wasn't making any money from the membership site, and that was the primary reason of being on ClickFunnels. So I said, okay, well, that turned into the primary reason why I was on ClickFunnels, because the other one was that I was using templates from somebody for opt-ins and they weren't that great. So finally I decided that I was just going to go ahead and switch those off somewhere else, and I did. And then it was just the membership area. So as you sit there, you start making these decisions and you start deciding, hey, what's in my best interest? If you're paying $100 a month, it's not in your best interest to not make money off of that, right? If you're paying money out on something, especially for a business, unless that's making you money in the long run, whether it's, I mean, yeah, if you're paying $100 a month and you're generating leads and making money through email marketing or something, great. Then so be it. But since nobody's going through the courses, nobody's taking action, I was paying for something that was never going to make me money, at least not at the point where I was. So I finally said, okay, I'm gonna have to nix that and go somewhere else. And then now I get to the point where I'm like, I just don't have the time to do both, right? I can't help people. And I mean, because people will go in to our group, not recently, but in the past, or they'll message me and they'll ask me a question. And I'm like, well, that's in the training. Oh, okay. And I'm like, well, but they never went through it. And I know they never went through it, but that's because it's not easy, right? It's not easy. And it's easy to go into Facebook. It's easy to go to the page. It's easy to go to YouTube. So we're going to stick with easier, right? That's easier, makes sense. So I've started to realize what's more realistic. And not only that, but hey, guess what? My releasing content onto my site is exactly what I need to do. So that makes more sense, right? So for my end goal, for my business plan, it makes sense to stop releasing content into a locked area and start releasing more content where I can be driving more traffic to my site. Sorry, my daughter has got her headphones on next to me. Her computer is literally right next to me. One of these days I'll have to do a picture and show you guys how crazy it is in here. So anyway, so I did another reason why I'm not disappointed with my progress is because I did learn a lot about what's best for my business. When you stop and you start thinking about, okay, what's best for the business? And I want to give the world everything. I want to be like, hey, I want to help everybody do everything. I've been that way forever, but it's not working, right? It's not working. This is the same reason why people say, hey, don't give stuff away for free. Like, I don't agree with that. I think free can help. Free has helped drive the world and help us advance. But if you're like a lot of people, you get a free ebook and you never read it. So that's what ends up happening. I mean, there's some people that obviously do because otherwise it wouldn't work, But I remember once I got onto Amazon, I was so excited. I was like on Kindle and I was like, oh, I'm going to get all these free books. I read through like 2 pages of one of them and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this because they were so bad. right? And because that's what the quality is of free, people tend not to do or take actions when they get the free items. So what people typically say is offer it for a couple bucks, right? Even if you're like, hey, get my ebook for $1. I mean, Kindle does this, right? You can buy ebooks for like $1 on there. They're more likely to then, they're not that they're all going to, there are plenty of people who buy $150 books, textbooks, and never read them, right? I mean, there's plenty of people who still buy stuff and don't take action, but they're more likely to take action when they purchase something. So it's the same scenario in this case, is that I need, if I want people to take action, I need them to take action where they're comfortable taking action, whether that's consuming content on YouTube or on Facebook or on the website. And so these are, you sit down, you start breaking it down and going, okay, what works best for my plan, for my business, and what works best for my time and everything else. Then you start to see that, hey, I need to make some changes, right? I don't need a membership area. Yeah, it's great to have an opt-in, but I have other opt-ins, and I'm not emailing people anyway. So like, why do I need an opt-in if I'm not doing any emailing? And the part of the reason why I don't do emailing is because I know people were getting mad when I was sitting, they have Etsy and then I'm sending them stuff about affiliate marketing. And they're like, I don't understand. Why am I getting this? And it's confusing to them. So instead, it's like, okay, I've got to step back and figure out a way where I can email people about what's important to them and what they're interested in, and have an outlet for them. But of course, there's always the Facebook group where they can come and ask questions too. I get a lot of people who sign up to the membership area. I was looking at the emails and I'm like, these are relay emails, right? They're like such and such at something relay. And it's like, and I'm going, and then it's a subdomain or something. And so they're not even legitimate emails. And I'm going, why do people do that? Just make a Gmail and never open it. I'm not suggesting you do that. I'm just saying at least give a real email, but I don't know how that works. It's just crazy. I don't get it. That's not my world. I have plenty of emails. I try to check them all, but I get a lot of spam too. So in fact, it's funny because I run most of my custom domain emails through Zoho Mail, which I love, by the way. I do love them. In fact, I'm using them on my websites, which I will share information about. It's free. So I'm like free all the way along the way. I do pay for Zoho Mail for a couple of my domains, but not all of them, because I just need it to communicate messages like if I get locked out, if I lose the password, which I really don't need either, but I figured it was a good idea to at least have it on there. And then of course, if I need to email from that, it needs to have an email address. So I put it on Zoho Mail, and then they have a free plugin on WordPress. So it's really cool, but I like them. But what's funny is that I kid you not, I have to check my spam, which I got into the habit of never checking my spam. My husband used to give me crap about it all the time. He'd be like, well, you don't check your spam. And I'm like, no, it's spam. That's why it's there. And he goes, well, I mean, stuff gets in there that's not supposed to be there. And I'm like, well, that's not my problem. And he's like, you need to check your spam. And so for years, I never did. And then one time I'm like, I guess I heard his voice in the back of my head, and I'm like, I guess I'll check my spam. I'm like, oh my gosh, like 3 places that were really important had been messaging me about stuff. And I can't remember what they were now, but like a banking thing or something. And I'm going, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I didn't check my spam. And I should have. That's the moral of the story on that one, is I should have. But Zoho will constantly put stuff in spam that doesn't belong there. And somehow legitimate spammers, I mean hardcore spammers, get through to the inbox. And I'm like, how is that not flagged as spam? And yet this one is. And I'm like, I don't get it. And so I don't get their thing. So if you get Zoho Mail, that is one thing you need to keep in mind, is that they do flag that. So so I'm not really disappointed about my progress. It's only been a week. And again, like I said, I need to manage my expectations. And now that I kind of have a better idea, it's going to adjust what I do. So what's next? I didn't get to finish my goals before I got on, because I was, complaining to my sister about, well, more than the membership area and how much of a headache it's been, but, and not because it's hard to do or anything. It's just a lot of freaking work. Right. And it's just me. So this week's goals, I'm not going to move the membership area, clearly, because we're not going to have one anymore. So I'm going to instead, I'll probably do a couple of recordings just to save them for later about how to do it, or I might just do it later. I don't know. But I'm going to get some content on YouTube more than just the live on Thursday. So I need to post some videos, and I'm actually going to post some videos. I meant to do this last week. So I want to do keyword research, and it's going to be 3 parts. And well, it might be two parts, but we're going to call it three parts for now. And the reason why is because I was actually in another training. See, I do have to listen to trainings during the week too. I was in another training for one of the programs that my sister and I are working on. And that it occurred to me, he's like, oh, yeah, just put your keywords in there. And I'm like, you know what? For as long as I remember, I've known what keywords are. I've known what keywords are since the day they defined that, whenever that was, and or at least made it popular. I mean, like, and I've mentioned this before that I've been into search engine optimization, or at least interested in it, since the internet came out in our area, which was like 1996. Well, 95, because I was under 16 and people were harassing me online. It was AOL, and who knew that you needed that much privacy? And then you get a message from the guy down the street, which, by the way, down the street for us was like 4 miles. And he says, oh, yeah, I saw you through your bedroom window. And I'm like, what? I live on 40 acres and I have a bunch of dogs. How'd you get past them? And he apparently drove on the neighbor's driveway and sat in his car and watched me through binoculars. And I said, AOL's creepy. No offense, AOL, but it was back then. So ever since then, that's when I started learning about kind of keywords and how, search happened. And gosh, I remember, you guys, that I complain all the time about how Google results or Bing results or whatever, the results are horrible. But my goodness, I can think back and I'm going, I remember typing anything in. And there would be two main things that would dominate the searches back then, for me at least. And that would be pet supplies. I mean, you would put in, literally, I would put in sunscreen, right? Sunscreen. I'm trying to find a specific sunscreen, which I've always been like this, right? I've always gone to the internet to find stuff. And it would come up with dog, like some sort of dog supply place. And I'm like, why would that? And it's sure enough, you look in there and they've got all these, keyword stuffing stuff in the bottom of their page, and sunscreens in there for whatever reason. And then the other one, gosh, I just remembered a second ago, but now I can't. Anyway, there was another one that would dominate the search results. And you're like, what? It's like going on Craigslist now. And it's like everything you look for, it's like promoting furniture and cars. And I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for. And yet I don't go to Craigslist anymore, but when I did. And so that's part of the reason why you stopped. But so now I complain that, oh yeah, they're pulling some old information, but at least it's somewhat relevant. So but keyword research, again, it's been something that I've been a part of forever. And when I'm listening to this training and he's talking about this and people are going, well, how do I figure out my keywords? And I'm going, oh my gosh, I know we've talked about this in the past, but this is kind of something that's a big deal. Is like, look, if you're going to be doing anything with search related stuff, whether it's Pinterest, whether it's YouTube or Google or Bing, if you want to show up or you want to be related to that in some way, you need to have the right keywords. And there's too many times where people, and I know a lot of people in our group know keywords, but if you're trying to go through the steps of keyword research, a lot of people just go real shallow too. They're like, well, I know that I'm in affiliate marketing, so that's my keyword is affiliate marketing. And then they might do a little bit of dabbling and find a couple of other keywords that are related, and that's about it. And I go back to this whole, so digital marketing is a keyword, right? And then and it kind of does vary because this has changed over the years, but digital marketing used to be online only, right? It was online marketing. They were interchangeable words because that's all that was digital, was online. I mean, you had to go on your computer onto the web, and it was desktop only. There were no mobile phones back then. Well, they were probably just coming out, but there was no internet for them yet. So if you think about the fact that, hey, how much has changed? And yes, there, depending on where you are in your, marketing area, you may realize that, oh, hey, digital marketing and online marketing, while the terms have changed, now digital marketing expands to basically anything digital. I mean, you've got not beyond computers and phones, you've got tablets, you've got even your little watches now, you've got, all these different types of digital devices. That's digital marketing. And online marketing is expanded to a variety of other things and other opportunities as well. And you go, okay, well, they're not as interchangeable anymore, but there's still words that you should have both of those in there. And sometimes one person, and I think about this too, soda and pop, right? So I grew up saying soda pop, and people would think I was crazy because they're like, no, it's soda. No, it's pop. And it wasn't until I went to college that somebody from Colorado, I think, was there, and she's like, are you drinking pop? And I'm like, you mean soda pop? And she's like, oh, yeah, I guess so. And it was funny because I'm going, oh, and it kind of occurred to me that, same thing, you talk about, and I took linguistics in college, so I expanded on this a little bit more when I was in college and stuff. And that was my first year in college. But, it was interesting to me to know that people call things different words and they mean the same thing. And they're from different parts of the country, different parts of the world, whatever. And of course, we can make fun of the way British people say, oh, my daughter's a perfect example of this. So she said, I go, hey, are you going to do such and such? Or I go, do you need to suss that out? And she goes, what? And I said, you need to suss it out, like figure it out. And I said, I think that's like British or something. She goes, no, sus means you're suspicious, because it's from her game, right? She's 8. So she's like, I think it's Among Us or something. And I'm going, yeah, you know what? That's another example. So as our cultural nuances change and we pick up words mostly from YouTube, we go, oh, okay. So now your view of how words are continue to change, and keyword research. That's why it's an ongoing process, right? As we continue to redefine words, or somebody decides to market differently or whatever, it's important. And so that's why I started going, you know what? We probably do need to do another keyword research thing and break it up into 3 parts. So that was the long version of that. But I thought it was fun and interesting because now my daughter knows that sus does not just mean suspicious, which of course I've been trying to figure out how to tell her that for a long time. She doesn't believe me though, unfortunately. I don't have to Google it. In fact, oh no, I did. I read her an article, and that's when she started believing me. I'm like, oh, look, he used it. They sussed it out. And she's like, what? So, all right. So beyond posts and videos, I'm going to then schedule the 7 posts to, what is today? Today's the 29th, right? So let's start them on the 1st. Let's just start on the 1st. And then we'll follow up with social media assets to go along those posts. And something else that I've been working on besides the membership area was moving over and getting the opt-ins for various free training, not just mine, but other people's, that promote products and stuff. But the free training is always really good. That's why I recommend it. If it was crap, I wouldn't recommend it. In fact, if it was crap, I wouldn't recommend the product either, right? That's the way it goes in affiliate marketing. You do not want to recommend bad stuff. Some people still think it's bad, even though it's not, which cracks me up, because I'm like, you know what? Just because somebody else in the group said that they had problems doesn't mean you're going to have problems. I hate this, Kim. I can't believe you recommended it. Why? You didn't have that problem. Somebody else did. They're like, well, you're the one who recommended it. I'm like, okay, whatever. So, so the opt-ins for various free training, I have my own opt-ins. And so they had to get moved over. They did get moved over. And there's an amazing, it's actually kind of a ClickFunnels alternative if you want to do WordPress. And I can't remember the name of it. I don't know why. Off the top of my head, I'll have to do a video on it. But it's a really good plugin, WordPress plugin, that you can build landing pages and stuff with. And it's actually quite amazing. So we'll probably do something, show off that at some point so you can do something similar, because I'm going to add in, I need to finish moving these over. I finished testing them. So actually they're moved over, they're tested. I just need to rotate into the promotion. So this was something I mentioned so the monetization methods were going to be advertising and affiliate marketing / CPA. So the opt-ins for these are done, and that's basically affiliate marketing, right? So even though I'm building a blog post or a blog page, or blog, whatever, the part that I want to emphasize, sorry, my brain, I can still hear myself talking behind me, and it's driving me crazy. I know you'd think that I'd be fine with my own voice. I like to talk. I just don't like to hear myself talking from a few minutes ago or a few moments ago. It's crazy. Okay, wait, focus. Psh. The opt-ins are for affiliate products. And it doesn't matter if they come to the page and go to the affiliate product, I can still promote things. Like, for example, about half of these are almost all high ticket products, which by the way, I'm going to create a list eventually of ones that you guys can also promote. You can sign up to promote if you want to. That's I'm gonna put that on there because that's actually a priority. High ticket PDF report thing, I guess. I don't know what I'm gonna call it. But that is because there's some that are really good training that you guys could promote and make money off of without owning it. That's really, 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 really rare. So the important thing to understand though is that you don't have to make money just because you're blogging doesn't mean that oh my gosh, I can only make money blogging, right? That's not the way it works. If you're doing affiliate marketing, you're doing CPA, you're doing sponsored something or whatever, you can do other things. You can still do email marketing. You can still do, which by the way, I have opt-ins, so they'll be capturing emails. So then I would follow up with, more information, and there's some auto stuff already built into it. But on these, half of them have free reports, or it's like a PDF or an ebook, right? So I can promote the ebook, I can promote the training, I can do that. So all of that should go into the rotation of my promotion. So I don't have 500 posts on my site yet, right? Yet. And so if I want to promote the blog post, if I'm doing something like, say, Pinterest, if I'm scheduling stuff and I'm like, hey, I mean, when I first get started, I might only be scheduling, 2 or 3 posts a day. But if I'm only posting 1 blog post a day, I'm not going to post 3 posts of the same blog post. Now I could do 1-to-1 blog post and 2-to-2 others, but if I'm posting every day, I need to give it some time anyway. I need to supplement my pins with something else. I should be using my opt-in, driving traffic to my opt-ins then. So there, you aren't limited to what you do. And it's kind of a strategy you have to figure out what you have time for. There's another one I'm testing right now. It's not email marketing. It's similar to email marketing because it uses emails, but you're not going into like a software platform and sending emails. You're actually joining a group where you're basically emailing each other. And so people still have to look at your offer. Now, the percentage of opt-ins and everything else is really, really low on it, but I'm testing out to see if there's any effectiveness to it. But I have to go in every day and work on it. And if that's not something I'm willing to do, that's not something I should include in my strategy. Right. So those are things that I'll be testing those other things as well. So I'm going to put on here, continue. Wait, I can spell continue to fine tune strategies and expectations. See what I'm willing to do and can do versus what I am not willing to do. Which this reminds me, I'm going to start working on a quiz on this. Since gosh dang, I cannot spell today. It's going around the microphone. Anyway, so these are some notes that I'm just making myself. So start working on a quiz for the website. So these are all little things. There's more stuff I have on here too, right? Like last week, I had mentioned, I'm going to look at Google News options. I'm not going to touch that until I actually have some more content on there, until I can schedule out a post a day. I'm not going to even apply to Google News because they want you to be supplying content regularly. And if I can only get around to doing it every, spurts of days every few weeks, that's not effective to them. So it's pointless for me to start putting that as a priority until I'm ready for that. So that's going to be down the road. And for now, my thing's going to be, can I schedule enough content to go out to meet that demand? And in the meantime, I'm still going to be doing my social media strategies and everything else. And again, I'm still fine tuning those because I have to get to the point where I'm like, hey, I'm posting content. Can't really do the rest of it. So hopefully you guys, even though this looks like Kim didn't do much, Kim did a lot. And I don't always talk in third person. In fact, I rarely do. But I did do a lot of stuff this week. And it's hard to quantify it when you put a lot of effort into something and then you cancel it. But that's something that we have to decide, right? You have to decide if you're willing to do the work. And if your strategy involves a membership area where you have to drive traffic to the membership area, keep people engaged, and keep content updated. I mean, Facebook just changed the way they did ads a couple weeks ago. I did a lot. There was a live training on last Friday, right? After the change, and he's talking about doing interests, and I'm going, I can't do interests on my Facebook thing. So I'm like, man, can I? I don't know if I can do interest anymore or not. So I have to go back in and research that. So this is all changing so fast. And so, I mean, my daughter complains about this all the time. She logged into Amazon on my phone. She goes, everything's changed. And I'm like, oh, just wait till next week. It seems to be every week they're changing where the buttons are, what you can get access to, how you get access to it, where it's located. And I'm going, it's driving me crazy. I'm like, at least the desktop version is not as bad, but the mobile version is just insane with the changes they're making. And so I'm like, this is the way social media is. Technology. Anything with technology is doing this. And so if you have content that's like that, you have to be able to upkeep it. I can't upkeep it. So it's a lot easier for me to post it on YouTube and then redirect them to the new video when it comes out, or replace the video. Right now, it's going into a membership area, replacing it, and letting everybody know. And I'm like, you know what? It's a lot of work, and it's a lot more work than I think I can handle right now. And so eventually, when I get to the point where I'm going to hire somebody to help me with everything, they'll go ahead and they'll get the, Marjorie, I should have probably asked you. You can see my screen, right? Not that I'm going to start over. That'd be funny. Oh, good. Thanks, Marjorie. I'm like, yeah, an hour into this, I probably should have mentioned it. Dang, I almost an hour. See, Kim can't help it. That's a third person again. I really can't help it. There's something wrong with me. I love talking to people. I wish, Marjorie, you could come on. That's why we need to switch to StreamYard, just so I could add people in to be able to talk to them. Because otherwise I go on forever and I just go into whatever direction I want to, because it's way too hard for you guys to type stuff in. And then I'll be like 5 minutes past it by the time it comes through. So anyway, so let's go ahead and end this part here. I don't know if I had anything after it. If I did, it's probably not supposed to be there. So let me know, Marjorie, if you have any questions you want to type in real quick. And like I said, I'll probably end up switching to StreamYard because I do like that. But the bigger problem with that is I think I need to use both StreamYard and OBS software for my daughter to be able to stream her gaming videos. But before I get that far, I have to find out, she's 8 and can she have her own YouTube channel? I mean, obviously it would be a channel I manage and everything, but is she allowed to be on it? I don't know. Those are all things that have all changed recently. So see, when I mentioned the whole, I only have 35 hours a week, and you guys go, wait, you don't have a job. How do you only have 35 hours a week? Yes, I have a job. I have like 7 of them. They just don't pay me anything. I make money from some of them, but not all of them. I get paid in laughter and hugs and kisses for one of them, which is pretty good. Yeah. So, yeah, I think the goal. So Marjorie asked, for social media, are you doing Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram? And she did that in short code. So I'm impressed if I got that right. Yes. And the only reason I figured that out too was because FB, Pinterest, and Instagram, which she did spell out Pinterest though. In defense, that's how I figured it out, Marjorie. I'm tired, by the way, if I haven't mentioned that. So I'm going to do Facebook. And the Facebook thing, though, I don't know how much. That's why I'm trying to go switch to being able to do live videos on Facebook as well. And that's because Facebook does like live videos. But I think I'm still kind of unclear at the best approach. And I think I'm going to be doing a lot of groups, some spam groups. And I call them spam groups. They're not legitimate spam groups. They're just groups that let you advertise in there. But if there's other people in there, that are in this similar niche, they may be interested. It's hit and miss with those. I'm going to test it and see if it works. So that is one strategy that I'm going to be working on, is obviously the Facebook page, and then the groups. Now, the niche that I'm in doesn't really have viral content, right? So we can't really do the whole viral content method. That's more of a entertainment area, where if you want to do like sports or Harry Potter or something like that, you can do viral content that way. But it's a lot harder to do outside of politics or religion or sports, or those big entertainment areas. And you notice I lump politics and entertainment because it is entertaining most of the time. But outside of that, so Facebook is really, really difficult for reach. And I have my Facebook pixel on my page. I may end up doing ads eventually or something, but It's one of those. Facebook is not going to be a high priority for me, other than our group. Obviously, our group I want to maintain and keep, bringing people in, and hopefully building it back up, because right now there's like nobody active in it. But I get messages from people, so people are looking at stuff. They just don't post in the group. I don't know why. If you post, with the except Marjorie can post anything she wants because she's allowed to. And then there's like a handful of people that are allowed to post whatever they want. For the most part, if you're brand new, you come into the group, you can't post whatever you want, because I'll block you. It'll stop you and ask for me to approve you. And that's a good thing. People are like, oh, I don't want to do that. If I can't post freely, I don't want. No, the reason why I do that is because it doesn't always notify me about posts. Now I usually get a notification of Marjorie posts, because I've been in there responding to her and she's been engaging with me, that Facebook lets me know. But Facebook decides whether you get a notification or not about anything. They completely control the information you get. So it's really tough. And that makes that entire social media side difficult to do with my niche. Now, if you're in a niche where you're in anything where there's entertainment, there's how-to stuff, there's anything you can like engage in conversation with people about without arguing about it, or it's not business to business, essentially. So a lot of what this is falls under business to business, because you're doing marketing. So I'm teaching other people who need to do marketing, right? That's business to business for the most part. It might be business to employee sometimes, but that's rare. So that, again, it's a tough niche. Now, Pinterest, I've had better luck with Pinterest. So I'm going to try to keep doing Pinterest. I've switched it, and I'm going to be testing it with a newer account. That's the one that got suspended, but unsuspended, because they are the ones that mass suspended it. And no, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I know it's funny. I'm in a Pinterest group and they're like, well, if you got suspended, you're probably doing something wrong. I'm like, I don't know how that person who teaches Pinterest, which she's amazing, she does a really good job, but I don't understand how she doesn't know that Pinterest does this on a regular basis, right? They do mass account shutdowns all the time. Now, typically, once you've been shut down once and you didn't do anything wrong, it doesn't happen again, because what they're doing is they're running it. They're looking for bots, right? For people who are running bot accounts. And typically those emails aren't managed. So they'll shut the account down kind of as a test. And then if you don't ever reactivate it, if you don't ever click the link, then you just lose your account. And that's how they weed out a lot of the bot accounts. So they used to do this all the time before they went public, but then when they went public, they stopped. And then all of a sudden they started doing, this is the first time I think they've done it since they went public. And so Pinterest, though, has always been, I've tested it multiple times. And if you're doing content at all, whether it's YouTube, whether it's blogging, whether it's, anything that there's content where people can consume it, Pinterest is a really good platform. It's a really good place to warm people up and bring them into your ecosystem, essentially. It's not as easy as it used to be, but it's still a really good one to test if you're doing blogging. Instagram is still newer to me. I know how to do it. I understand how to do it. My daughter can do it. I mean, she's 8. She stole one of my accounts because it was attached to her phone, because I needed it because Facebook was being a jerk. So she got on there and she turned around and went, hey, I'm going to do this. And she's in, gaming stuff. And she was following a YouTuber or whatever. She made a comment. She did her own little video and she ended up with like a couple thousand views. And I'm like, seriously? So if an 8-year-old can do Instagram, I think I can figure it out. And maybe she'll have to help me. All right. So are you seeing people writing and posting entire articles on Pinterest? I have not seen that yet, Marjorie. I've heard about that, but I have not seen that yet. Now, what I do know is that Pinterest just did an update where, I say update, they did a announcement/update where they're focusing on idea pins. Now, idea pins in the past didn't let you link to anything. And now their new update is that you can tag a product or tag another pin or something. And so like if you do an idea, then let's say, so like the example is like a recipe, right? So if you do an idea pin where you show a video of the finished food, I guess, then you could always link over to the pin that goes back to your recipe. But what I have seen people doing is they'll put the entire recipe on there, because that's actually one of the things that you can, oh my gosh, I lost it. the data, the microdata you can pull from your site is if you have like a recipe, you can say, hey, Pinterest, here's my microdata. And you format it that way and it'll just pull all the recipe and all the information on there. And it's like, so people never have to leave Pinterest. And so what's the point? And I'm like, Pinterest is the same thing like Facebook, same thing as YouTube, same thing as Instagram. They want to keep you on the platform because that's how they make money. They make money when they can promote ads to you. So it would not surprise me to start seeing Pinterest wanting entire articles on Pinterest. The catch is, and this is the balance that all of these social media platforms have to strive towards, is how do you balance providing people entertainment and content with the next steps, right? That's how they keep you on, is going, okay, well, here's the next step. So essentially, social media is the funnel, right? So they are the funnel. Now, it's a lot easier if somebody has a series of content, or they can keep going through the exact same things and they stay on there, where Pinterest makes money off of showing sponsored posts, right? So they need to keep searching for more things. So here's the challenge with putting an entire article on Pinterest, is if somebody's searching for that and they can read the entire article on Pinterest, when they're done, are they going back to search? Are they going back to see more sponsored posts? Probably not if the entire article is there. So whether they're driving them off to a site or they're ending them on that post is kind of irrelevant at that point. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to us to see how it works out if they do that. But I have heard about entire articles showing up on Pinterest, and which is funny because that's the opposite of what they were doing. They were trying to shift away from people putting really long posts. And so now it's like, it's funny. They keep going back and forth on things. It's hilarious. I feel like everything that they eliminated to go public, they're bringing back now. Oh, well, all this stuff that, well, it was working before, but we took it away because it wasn't making enough money. Guess we need to put some of it back in, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, for me, I'm not going to be doing that. I need to drive people back to how do I make money? That's the thing. Who's putting posts and articles on Pinterest? Businesses. The majority of the content that's out there is coming out from businesses. Yeah, somebody might take a picture of their dog or whatever and put it in a folder so they could save it for later or something. But the likelihood is that most of the pins out there are from people who are trying to make money. And if Pinterest gets to the point where Pinterest is making money and nobody else is, and it's the same with every single platform, then nobody's going to be on there anymore. They're going to go somewhere else. So this is a constant balance between providing content for the consumer, keeping people on their platform so they can make more money, and still making it so that the businesses and the ones that are paying them the money also make money. So it's got to be this ecosystem that's like everybody's, this balancing of this ecosystem. And they're going to constantly be testing things. But the idea pins have been prioritized for a while now. And they're video pins, obviously. But the fun thing is they're kind of fun. And we may have to talk about them in one of these days, as idea pins, because you can do a lot of different things. And by the way, for those of you who are looking for some way to make your social media content, you're like, hey, I don't want to pay for Adobe or whatever it is, Canva has added a ton of stuff. And we're going to have to do some videos on Canva because it is amazing how much stuff you can do. I think I was off of Canva for like a month because I had no need to go into it. And I'm going, oh my gosh, I can do so much more with it on the free version, by the way, free, right? Completely free. I can go in there. I can make videos. I can make GIFs. I can make, oh my gosh, it's amazing. So I do recommend that. I don't know what that means, Marjorie. Are you OI? You have to tell me what that means because oh yep, see, this is what I mean. This is why we have to do it live. We have to figure out how to do it live. Okay. So yeah, I'm on the free version still. I think the paid version would be worth it eventually, but I'm striving till the end of the year to pay for as little as possible to prove that I can build, and I'll probably go through and say, look, these are the resources. Now I'm testing other stuff and other things, right? I'm paying for tools that I will never use for this particular test. Those are not going into it and obviously aren't going to be part of the equation. But if I can come in here and I can say, look, for the next 6 months, you can build this site. Here's what you need to do. Here are the resources you need, how much it's going to cost you. And this is, I mean, I can't predict how much you're going to make, but these are ways that you can make the money. Then I think people are going to be more likely to stick it out for 6 months and do it than they are, because I mean, how many people buy a program? I know this drives people crazy because I hear about it in every single group, every single program, right? They get in there and they're like, well, I thought I'd be able to make money without paying for ads. And then the group people, the teachers are like, look, the coaches or whatever, they're like, look, you need to pay for ads, because the reason why they do that is because that's how you get your quick win. And then that gets people interested and they stick with it. And a lot of in fact, that's almost every single program that I've seen in the last 18 months, maybe more, was they're saying, hey, you need to pay for ads. So what was the way you were driving traffic to sites? I mostly drive see, this is where I drive traffic from, mostly from Facebook group. That's kind of funny, right? Since the group's not active, I still somehow drive most of my traffic from our Facebook group, but it's usually to like an offer or something like that. But I will say, second to that, which may actually be complementary because it's the same people, usually, YouTube. YouTube is my biggest conversion for everything. So it's silly for me to say I'm not going to use YouTube. I have made more money. Okay, no, I have converted more sales. I'm not going to say made more money. I have converted more sales on affiliate offers by doing simple reviews and posting them on YouTube. And somebody finds them along the way, as long as they're evergreen, because I cannot compete with the launches. But if it's evergreen, usually somebody will be shopping around. They'll find my review. Sometimes they reach out, sometimes they don't, and they'll just go and buy the product. And I'll be like, randomly, I'll just get like the sale. Now I track when people buy something. Ooh, do I have that set up still? I have to look. I might have to add that to my list, right? Check oh my gosh, affiliate marketplaces. Not all of them. It's like, so like ClickBank won't let you capture emails or data or anything, but that's why you're supposed to, get the opt-ins before you send them to the offer. But JVZoo, I'll put JVZoo on here because that's one of them. I can't remember if there's another one that does it, but a lot of them will record it and let you know. But JVZoo, you can put in an integration, and I can't remember. I think I have that attached to the wrong email. So for email capturing / and the reason why I say this, you don't have to do it this way, is that, but what I typically do is that when they purchase JVZoo product, is that I email or I capture their information and get them into the bonuses immediately. So that's going to change because I'm going to move my bonuses, and I'll show you guys how I'm going to do that, because I don't really care if people who haven't bought get access to the bonuses, but they're going to have to go through a lot of effort to get there, right? They're going to have to know, or somebody's going to have to cheat and give it to them or something. So I'll show that when we get to that point in affiliate marketing. I have a bunch of stuff to add to the affiliate marketing course now, because there was again, the solutions in the past have always been paid. And it's not until you find one that's actually really good that you go, oh my gosh, this isn't necessarily free, but it's super cheap to do, right? So a lot of that we're going to have to add into the affiliate marketing course. But yeah, most of my traffic for affiliate products and everything else, it comes from YouTube. And I would recommend that highly for people. But I feel like I provide quality video reviews when I do it, because that's what makes them buy, right? They review it and they're like, yeah, you've answered the problem that I had or the question that I had. So because of that, I'm going to click on your link. Whereas, I'm sure, but I've had plenty of people that will buy a product because of me, reach out to me and say, well, I bought this product because of you, so help me. And I'm like, you didn't buy it through my link. Oh, no, I bought it through somebody else's link because they had better bonuses. And I'm like, then I'm not helping you. That's not usually the way it works. I usually help them anyway, but it's just, that's kind of, it's discouraging when you go through so much work and effort. Oh man, I spelled something wrong. Squirrel. That was a squirrel moment. All right. So hopefully, Marjorie, if you have additional, I know we're running late and my throat's getting really sore. So, oh no, we're about an hour. That's not horrible. If you do have more questions, it's really delayed and I'm getting a headache. So I think I'm going to hop off, find some dinner, drink something because that might be why I have a headache. And then if you have more questions, though, post them in the Facebook group because we need to get more activity in there. And I like that. You saw it last time you posted something. I was pretty quick to reply. At least I think I was. That's when Facebook notified me. And as soon as I saw it come in, I popped in and did it. So, yeah, for anybody else who's on the replay or if you're on YouTube, because I cannot see that at the moment. It's another challenge with the way we're working this. I can hear it in the background, but I cannot see it on my screen anywhere. If you have questions, you can, obviously post them below. You can reach out to us in the Facebook group. The link is not there right now. I'll go back in here in the next 20 minutes or so and add it in there. And then, yeah, I do recommend even if you're on the YouTube side, I'm going to go ahead and put the affiliate marketing course specifically in the Facebook group guides. That, and I think there's another thing I wanted to put in there, but I might actually post that in both places. So, but it will only be there. And that's because you need to go through it in steps, right? There's obviously some stuff, some stuff you don't know. But as you go through, like I always hate when people go, well, you told me to do this. And I said, yeah, but that's after you do the first 3 things. And that always happens on YouTube. It drives me crazy. So yes, YouTube is great if you can get people who will go in order, but a lot of people won't. They find a video out of order. They try to follow the information and then they get mad. So with my affiliate marketing course, it's completely free, but I'm not going to have it in the members area. I'm going to put it in the Facebook group. So if you're on YouTube and you're like, hey, I'm resistant, go in there. You don't have to participate, even though I'd really like you to, but I'll post it in there. Where I don't have it in here. So we're going to put that here and we'll say post affiliate marketing course into, because I do mostly video, not a lot of written content. So it'll work out well into Facebook group guides. So we'll do that one. And I have another one that I need to talk to people about. That's eventually going to lead to a quiz, right? The quiz is going to help guide you through, and that's what this quiz is. This quiz is going to guide people through through monetization methods. And that's because I cannot tell you how many people, it drives me insane, but they get into this. And I guess this is having experienced so many different business models that I can go, I don't like that one. And a good example of this was one that I had a conversation with Linda once about, and it was retail arbitrage, which I actually do technically for one of my stores, but retail arbitrage on Amazon. And I told her, I said, look, I'm sure you can make money doing this. Lots of people do, but it is hard. And I'm like, it's not something I want to ever try again. I've tried it once. I got stuck at a specific level, which I probably should have predicted, but I was like, you know what? It's just too hard and it's too much work, right? I'm not willing to put in the amount of work for that particular business model. Some people are. Some people doesn't feel like work to them. So, and then it was funny because we talked about it later and she's like, you're right. It's a lot of work. We did make money, but it was a lot of work, and whatever they were doing, I don't know what exact model they were doing. It wasn't retail arbitrage. They were doing something different, but it was similar to that. Right. And I said, yeah, that's what's frustrating is that particular business model, the one she did plus the retail arbitrage, I'm like, that is very hard to do. And it takes a lot of work. And she said it does. And so, it's one of those, if you're willing to do that, it could happen. But the other thing is that you've got inventory to worry about. You've got to invest a bunch into it. And so understanding that before, there's a lot of people that come into our group because they're new and then they just stop because they're like, well, I don't know what to do. I bought a program and it's not working for me. Another good one is Commission Hero. Commission Hero is an excellent course, right? I have Commission Hero Pro, which goes beyond Facebook, but Commission Hero is about running Facebook ads to affiliate products. Now, it's not straight to affiliate products. I want to be clear on that you cannot do that on Facebook, right? But it's, you go to an opt-in page. It's just like the training that if you go through my training, you'll learn very similar, but I don't teach how to do Facebook ads. If you want to learn how to do Facebook ads with it, you got to do Commission Hero. He's pretty much the only guy in the world that teaches it and teaches it right. But you get these people that go in there and they're like, I don't want to do what you're teaching me. I don't want to run Facebook ads. And it's like, wait a second. That's what the program is. Why would you come in here and complain about having to run Facebook ads if you bought the program knowing you're going to have to run Facebook ads to follow it, right? And so it cracks me up. Or then you get people that come in there and they're talking about their specific situation and they're like, look, if you're in a third world country, or I don't even know if they call it that anymore, if you're not in the US, if you're not in the UK and Canada and Australia, if you're not in a primary English speaking country, because that's where all the ad money's spent, then you have a pretty good likelihood that you're going to have Facebook issues. You know that already because you have Facebook issues, right? This isn't a surprise. And yet they'll come in, they get into Commission Hero and they're like, well, I created my second account. We're like, why did you create a second account? And they don't tell you why. And a lot of times that's because they live in these countries that are so restrictive, they can't get their first account approved or whatever. And then they end up getting their account shut down. And then they come in and they come into the group and they're complaining that, oh my gosh, I got my account shut down. And then everybody else is going, well, there's so many people getting their account shut down. This program doesn't work. And it's like, no, stop. People, if you follow the instructions, you will not, even if you get your account shut down. And by the way, this is an ad account. You will get it back if you do everything right. Well, and even if you do something wrong, you can typically get it back. It's like one of those, yes, there's a trial and error side, and yes, you may make mistakes, but as long as it's an honest mistake and it's not something you were intentionally deceiving somebody or trying to rip somebody off, you're going to be able to recover it. And there's so many people who are like, they come in with, and they're like, my account got shut down. And we're like, okay, what were you doing? Oh, well, I was running ads straight to the affiliate product. Well, of course you got shut down. And so it drives me crazy that these people come in here and then half the people will go, I am not willing to create an ad account on Facebook. I want somebody else to run my ads. Then don't get the program, right? Don't do that program. Or somebody else will go, look, I only want to do free marketing methods. And then they buy a program that teaches them how to do Bing ads. And I'm like, and then they get mad about it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how many times I've been in this. So the quiz that I'm trying to develop is going to help people, point them in the right direction for what they want to do. And we'll talk more about that another time, because I know I'm already past when I said I want to get off. My headache's getting worse. So Marjorie, I appreciate you getting on. Hopefully I can get into a software program next week and set up in time and everything, so we can just do it through that instead of Zoom, because I should have just gone live on YouTube probably, but I like to be able to have Zoom and have that interaction. But we may have to do something else, because I would prefer to be able to interact with you and ask questions live and everything else. So, but I do appreciate you coming, and I hope there was some interesting information and a little bit of motivation to keep going. I hope you're doing good on your Etsy stuff. Etsy just introduced a seller badge thing, which just makes me want to punch somebody in the face over that. Okay, maybe not punch him in the face, maybe in the arm. I don't know. Maybe not punch anybody at all, because it'll hurt my hand. But virtually in my mind, there's violence occurring, but not in real life, because I do not like pain. I don't like pain. But yeah, they introduced this, and my sister and I are just like, seriously, this is stupid. And it was funny, we were talking about that. We're like, so you have to be at 95% for these 3 different areas, and it's 5 stars or more, responding to messages within 24 hours. And the third one is shipping, right? So you need to, and it's funny because their shipping stuff is not quite what it says. It says it's on time and has tracking. But what they really mean, because it doesn't have to be on time, is that you ship it in your time frame. So if you say 1 to 2 days, you ship it within 1 to 2 days. Plus, you also need to have tracking. That's the whole thing, right? And so they're doing the same thing that Amazon does. Amazon wants 95% of your orders to be purchased, their shipping to be purchased through them. I'm sure that's because they make money off of it in some way, which I know they do because they charge me for it. But I go, okay, Etsy just keeps following Amazon on these things, and I'm going, all right, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But here are a couple of things that they need to change. One is that I only ship USPS because I'm in the United States and I'm not shipping anywhere else. And it's the cheapest for the products that I send. So they're all small. And so there is no benefit to me shipping any other method than USPS, even though I do hate doing it. I mean, it's gotten better since, the holidays and everything, but with the holidays coming up, I'm already dreading it. And I'm going, I would love to have a backup, but it's just too expensive for me to shift to one of the others. And their prices have all jumped. So what happens is, and it doesn't matter if you're going USPS, you're going UPS, FedEx, and even they have holidays that they observe, right? Like you can't, like ground doesn't go out on the weekends or something. They have offices that are open or closed or whatever. And there's a bug attacking me again. But Etsy does not consider, like, so let's say the 4th of July, it landed on like a Sunday or something, right? And so Monday was the observed holiday. If you say I'm going to ship in one day, you have to ship on Monday, even if the Monday's a holiday. And it's like, I can't physically ship it on Monday. Nobody's shipping on Monday. Doesn't matter. Etsy's system doesn't care. So you have to, and this, a lot of people do this, right? If you have next business day shipping, then you have to go into the system, generate it, and say you're shipping it that day, even though you can't. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. I mean, come on, Etsy. How hard is it for somebody to go in there? I mean, you have a software program, tell it what days are holidays and that those don't count. Nope. Apparently, it's too hard to do. So Etsy, being this giant public company, can't even figure out that you can't ship on holidays, and they can't figure out how to put that in their software. Kind of sad. So if they're going to hold you accountable for that, they should have that in their system. And same thing with the messages. My sister and I were talking about, I have a 94% right now, which they don't count supposedly until next month. But I have a 94% out of 95% because out of 18 messages received in the prior month or whatever, one of them was over 24 hours. One. And that made it be at 94%. And I'm like, well, that's a bunch of crap. That's not even fair. The reason why that message wasn't responded to in 24 hours was because it didn't show up in the system. So it was there, but I didn't see it for 2 days because it just wasn't there. It supposedly came in, but for 2 days it didn't show up in the app and it didn't show up in my desktop system. I could not physically see it. In fact, my sister remembers it because she goes, "Yeah, you had a message come in. What was that about?" I said, I didn't have a message come in, because she go into my account and she helps me. So she went in there and she saw that it said a message, but then she went into it on her side too. And she goes, there is nothing there. Why did it say you had a message? And I said, I don't know, because I don't have one. And then 2 days later it showed up. So I get penalized because of their system. And it's like, this is silly stuff that Etsy does. And it just drives me crazy. It reminds me of last year when they changed everything, when they changed the stars to black. And I'm like, people still have trouble with the black stars. And I'm like, yes, we've got a nice, the biggest selling time of the year is coming up. Etsy goes, what can we possibly change to drive everybody crazy and make them want to quit? That's what I feel like they do every year. They should be doing, what can we do to help our sellers? What can we do to be helping our buyers? And then implementing everything correctly. But instead they just go, oh, look, this is going to help buyers buy from the people who are the best sellers. So guess what? This means that the small people are going to get stepped on and kicked out of the way again. So I don't know. It's frustrating, well, to say the least. Even Chrissy's like, the changes they're making are not in the best interest of sellers. And they're not really in the best interest of buyers either. Because just because you hit those 3 marks, you reply to somebody within 24 hours, you ship out in time if your time frame is 6 weeks. I mean, how do you not ship out on time? And then the star rating, right? 95% of people don't give 5 stars. So that's not really a fair and accurate thing. I mean, usually those are going to be people who are paying for reviews then. And people still do it and they still get away with it. And it's like, oh my gosh. So anyway, so yeah, it would be interesting to see how you're doing on Etsy, considering they're making all these changes. And it doesn't start till next month. So if you're listed and you've got stuff, you should be good. So hopefully, and maybe we can get it up and running next month or next week so we can talk about that and see how you're doing on that. If you want, that's up to you. But anyway, there's my rant about Etsy for those who needed to know about Etsy. The problem is there really is no solution, right? I think I was alluding to this earlier and I skipped it because I got distracted. Is that part of the reason why I wanted to leave ClickFunnels was because I can't just download my ClickFunnels stuff and go to new hosting, right? So Google made a change, and then when I was running through my opt-ins on ClickFunnels, it, everything was saying it wasn't meeting the requirements anymore. And I'm going, well, I have no control over that. I can't change the hosting plan. I mean, maybe if I paid more, they'd put me, I don't know. And I'm going, I have no way to resolve that. It's not like with WordPress where you can just go, fine, I'm going to go to somebody else's hosting if I can't meet the requirements. Right. In fact, we had to do that with a couple of our sites because SiteGround had made a change. And I don't know if it was SiteGround or Google, to be honest, but they had made a change. And because I'm using Elementor Pro, it was bogging down the resources too much on SiteGround that I had to move those particular sites off. So I'm like, but I can do that. That's the great thing about having your own site when it's self-hosted. Hey, you get mad at your hosting, you go somewhere else. Right now, granted, there's only like 3 companies that own like all the different hosting ones, but that's at least 2 other options you have. And then when you get mad at them, you could always go back to the other one or a different email. Say, I don't know what you're talking about. That wasn't me. That was some other Kim. I've never done that. I've never gone back though. So anyway, I'm going to keep rambling, and my headache is just going to make it worse. So I will actually get off this time. But thank you again, Marjorie, for coming. I appreciate you coming on and listening, and hopefully laughing in the background at all this stuff, because I know you've experienced a lot of the same frustrating things that I have. And so you're probably just laughing, going, yeah, Kim, just wait, because it's going to get worse. Or, yep, been there, done that, things like that. So anyway, so if you, again, I can't see YouTube, so hopefully there's no comments. I don't see any notifications. So hopefully I'm good. But if I'll reply to anything here or there, I'll make sure that this gets shared into the Facebook group as well. And if you have questions, I do encourage you to hop into the Facebook group, ask questions, engage in there. I will have I have all the videos already for the affiliate marketing course. I just need to post them into Facebook. That's up to Facebook on how fast they go through it. So hopefully, let's see, today's Thursday. I have to go sleep in tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. I probably won't be able to. Saturday, I've got an event. So that's about it. So probably by Monday, we should have that posted in there. And that's actually being generous. I'm thinking hopefully by Saturday night, but I'm going to say Monday night, just so everybody knows that Kim is putting there. So let's put this here. Post affiliate marketing course into Facebook group guides by Monday night. Right. So we got that one. We've got the schedule, the 7 posts to start August 1st. Then we've got everything else. So looks like we've got some pretty good things that we can follow up on next week, and we'll see how it goes. So, all right. Well, thanks again, Marjorie. And I hope to see you in the Facebook group. And if not, you can always reach out to me too. If it's something you don't want to post in there, just, message me through Messenger, or I would say email me, but I don't know why. Sometimes it goes into spam and I don't see it. So Messenger or posting in the Facebook group is probably best. So until next week, keep an eye out, and we'll have more videos and everything, and we'll talk to everybody next week. So thank you. I got to figure out how to end it again, right? All right, I'll see you guys all next week.